Hi Flosstube, I'm Kim Chamberlain, the Canal Town Stitcher, and I am here to talk about cross stitch. I have been cross stitching a whole lot, and I have a lot to share with you. And this is my, I should say, like October, rest of October, and first part of November progress update. Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time since I've filmed a video, so I'm feeling a little out of sorts, but I'll get there. I'll get back into it. How are things going? Things are going good. It's a school year and I am teaching math and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think one of the most challenging things I have in my position is that I get to experience like math through different lenses, where, you know, some kids really love it and some kids really don't. And so you have to kind of like work through that. But overall, it's been a great year so far and I've been really liking it. I think I'm going to switch out my glasses actually. Because I feel like these glasses like are a little bit tintier and then you can't see me as well. So I feel like these ones are just a little better. It is Friday, November 14th, 2025. I'm sorry for the glare. There are lights on in different areas and you're going to get them off of my glasses no matter what pair of glasses I'm wearing. So I appreciate you just being a little patient with that. But yeah, I have been stitching and driving the kids everywhere, and my husband is doing a new job where he travels a lot more than he used to, so we don't get to spend as much time with him as I would like to. So the nights that he's home, I've been spending a little bit more time with him. But he's home tonight and he is downstairs watching Scandal with Grace. And I don't really particularly care for that show. I didn't like it when it was on, and I still don't like it now. So here I am upstairs. I told them, I'm like, Adam is at a camp out. I'm like, I'm going to go upstairs and film a video. And so they are downstairs enjoying that. And I'm up here filming this. I'm not really a seasonal stitcher per se, but I do stitch a little bit more in the seasons on the projects that I have for that season. I have not started stitching Christmas a whole lot yet. I do have a couple of Christmas pieces that I worked on just a little bit in the last week, but for the most part, I've been trying to stick to Thanksgiving after Halloween stitching was up. But I stitch anything that I really feel like stitching on. So I will stitch Christmas and fall, and I will stitch surprisingly enough, I was thinking about it. I was like, I stitch a lot of Halloween in January, and I don't really know why that is, but I do. Like, I just tend to gravitate more to the Halloween stitching in January than I do like around like the Halloween time of year. But I did stitch quite a bit on some Halloween pieces around Halloween this year. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Excuse me while I'm getting out the blah, blah, blah. So let's talk about my stitching. Let's just get into it. This is in no particular order. Just going to pull out of my basket here. I have a basket and a bag, and I have a piece over here. We're currently, like, this is like where I'm filming right now. So, like, most of the time I film in my spare bedroom, but I'm not filming in there tonight because I'm filming in my bedroom tonight. So on my nightstand and around my nightstand are projects that I've worked on or that I want to work on and that sometimes I work on before I go to sleep at night. So there's just projects everywhere. And when I clean up my area, maybe I'll do like a little like show with you like how I store my stuff, which right now would look like a big mess to probably most of you. But to me, it's an organized mess. I've realized that I'm very much so a type B personality for sure. Like, I have, like, everything's organized. I know where everything is, but if somebody that was very particular walked in, they would probably think, oh, what a mess. Anyways, back to my stitching. Let's go on to that. The first thing I'm going to show you is gather here. This is a chart from Hello from Liz Matthews. It's lovely. I love this chart. I did get this when I was in New York from Hobby House Needleworks, the day that I went with my cousin. So this is what it will look like when I'm finished. And I started this in the bottom right-hand corner because I wasn't sure how much room it was going to take, and I wanted to make sure that it all fit. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count even weave Lugana in the color Antique White. And I have it in a, oh, let me grab my board back here. Look at me grabbing my board before I even get started. If you're new here, welcome. I should have said that in the beginning. If you're new here, welcome. You might not know this about me, but there's a few things that maybe I should disclose in the beginning of the video. For one, I'm always looking for something in every video. I will be looking for a chart or looking for my board or looking for a picture or looking for something. I'm always looking for something. I waste a lot of time looking for stuff. Anyways. So that's one thing. The other thing that you would know about me is that I don't iron anything before I show it. I'm sorry. I know some people are really, really, really good about doing that, and I am just not. I am I work full-time. I'm a teacher. I get to work at 7 o'clock in the morning, and I usually don't leave before 5 o'clock at night. And then I have to go pick up my son from school because he's at marching band practice. And I come home and immediately make dinner, and then I sit down and I stitch. And whenever I'm filming, it's usually like I have an hour here or I have a half an hour there, or I can, you know, squeeze it in. And so there's usually very little planning involved in when I get on and I film a video. So I apologize if you don't like to see pieces that are still in a hoop or still in a Q-snap or still are not ironed or whatever. But if I'm going to film a video, it's going to be like this. So I'm sorry for those of you that really don't like that. Anywho, back to my stitching, because that's why you're all here. At least I think that's why you're here. Maybe it's my bubbly personality and that's why you're here, but I'm choosing to think that, maybe I'm choosing to think that. So this is my progress so far. I absolutely love this piece. And I don't think it's going to take me very long to stitch this. I just saw the lights flicker. Hopefully that's not a sign of anything bad. Sometimes they flicker just a little bit before the heat comes on. I don't know. I was stitching this the other night when my friend was over and we were watching Steel Magnolias. And not the new one, but the old one. The one from, like, you know, Sally Field and Shirley MacLaine and Julia Roberts, that one. That's the one I grew up with. And this is being stitched with the called for DMCs, which is $37.99. And it's going to be beautiful. And I cannot wait until I have this done, and I'm going to be hanging it in my dining room. Oh, and also, you know, maybe I'll just weave in a little bit of, oh, there's the chart. I'll just weave in a little bit of my backstory. So for those of you that are new, that maybe have not been here before, I used to live in New York State. I lived just outside of Palmyra, New York. For those of you that are familiar with where that is, that's why I'm called the Canal Town Stitcher, because I literally lived on the canal. We lived about a quarter of a mile from the canal, and we walked on the canal trail all the time. So yeah, that's why I'm called this. But I currently live in Jacksonville, North Carolina. My family and I moved here about 3 years ago to get away from winter. And now my son is telling me that winter is following us here. That's not okay. We are beach people. All right, next up, let's show some Halloween pieces. I worked on Halloween pieces. This is Halloween Quaker. It is by Leela's Studio. And if you wait a second, I will find the video. not video, picture. I'm just going to tell you that I have not been drinking tonight. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, her mom said.
I do not drink at all. Okay. So let's go to Etsy. No. I put this in did I put this in markup? I did not put this in markup. Again, we're looking for something. I told you so. I really hope that you come back if you're new here. And, you know, hit the like and subscribe and all the things, the bell, so that you know when I post a video. So that if nothing else, you can laugh at me. Okay, here it is. It was in good notes, by the way. Here it is. That is Halloween Quaker. I've been working on this since 2022. I started it in January of 2022, actually. I'm using all the called for DMCs and I think most of the called for classic Colorworks. And you guys, it is Classic Colorworks, by the way. I am almost done. I can see the end. It is near. I have worked so hard on this. And I just really want this to be done. I know that at the beginning of the year, during my whip parade, I said that I really wanted this to be done this year in time for Halloween, and that did not happen. And I'll explain why. So, here it is. Almost done. Probably close to 75%, if not 75% done. This is a piece of 32 count Murky by Picture This Plus. I worked on that heart. I got all the Happy Halloween in, that pumpkin. This little motif right here. So this, all of these things, this. I actually stitched this while watching Hocus Pocus. I got this done. This was already done, but I got this done and that done. And then I'm starting on this bottom motif and working my way over. So what happened is that this ghost and this cat ended up being like off by a row. Like this whole thing, like this was all off by one row. And I wanted to make sure that I lined it up from the bottom. So I started working across the bottom, and I'm going to work across the bottom, all that row of houses and everything for that like haunted, like village thing that's in this, so that it all lines up on the bottom. Cause it doesn't really matter if it's like one row from the motifs, but it will matter if this is off by a row. So I decided to just start from the bottom and just kind of work my way across. And then I'll fill in everything else, like all of this. It's like a row of crows, and then I have to do the spider web. If you've been around here for a minute, you know how I feel about stitching spider webs and cobwebs. They're hard. I would rather do 150 French knots than stitch spider webs. Although, looking at this pattern, I think that she did a pretty nice job of making it kind of user-friendly. I don't like to go across like huge amounts of space, because I find then that that the cobweb or the spider web won't lay right. And it seems like she did a pretty nice job of making sure that they were, like the movements are within a square. So that should make that a little bit easier. I've done lots of spider webs where that has not been the case, and it's been really hard. So I'm kind of putting that off until the end. But, oh, the lights just flickered again. So anyways, there she is. Isn't she so pretty? I can't wait to have this done and hanging on the wall next year. I love it. Oops. Why did I just, oh, I did. Like I just heard the needle fall. I really seriously did hear the needle fall. It landed in my lap. Oh, I was explaining my ADHD here. I was explaining that I couldn't work on it over the summer like I had thought until I had to get some threads. Like I didn't realize that I had run out of colors. And then I pulled it out after, of course, I had gone to Hobby House with my cousin and realized that I was out of like 2 of the colors. So when I was in Myrtle Beach for the Barefoot Needle Art beach retreat in October, I went over to the shop and I purchased them there. So I've been working on that. The next one that I was working on quite a bit during Halloween is Tonight is Halloween. This is a chart by Kathy Barrick, which I started in 2022. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. Don't mind my barking dog outside. Actually, he's my daughter's dog, but he's barking at something. Anyways, it says, shadows of 1,000 years rise again unseen. Voices whisper in the trees. Tonight is Halloween. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen in the color Whisper. And I've gotten a lot done on this year. So I didn't work on this really at all last year. So I picked it up this year and said, I'm working on this, and I have. So during my whip parade, you would have seen that only half of this, oops, let me see if I only have one clip in here. That's how I'm not prepared tonight. So that bat thing, whatever you want to call it, that ugly thing in the middle, which is one of the reasons I love this chart, by the way, was only halfway done. So I finished that and I started working on this ghost. And then down here, I finished this gravestone and filled it in. And so now after this ghost is done up here, so once this ghost is done like this one, then this tree actually repeats over here. So it'll be like this whole other tree over here. But this tree was a lot of work. It was it was a lot of work. It takes a lot of thread actually, like almost a whole skein. So that's where this is. The words are going to be easy. Like the words are easy. So I really enjoy this piece. I really, really, really love stitching it. I'm glad that that bat thing is all stitched. And so I'm looking forward to finishing this and having this also available for Halloween. I really, really enjoy Halloween stitching. I really do. I have a lot of Halloween charts. And what's funny is that I've always liked Halloween. Like as a kid, my mother had the cutest Halloween. Do you remember those paper villages? My mother had a paper village. And it was like, I shouldn't say paper, but like cardboard. And she had the cutest like little people, and we would set them up, and it would be like this whole like little scene of like a Halloween scene, like where there was like a haunted house and these little kids, and there were pumpkins and stuff, and you set them up, and it was just adorable. Where did I put this bag? Oh, by the way, if you see a project bag, these are project bags I made myself, so I don't like show them off as much, but any project bag that you see that I'm holding is a project bag that I made. Not that I wouldn't love to own other people's project bags, like buy them, but I just right now can't see myself spending the money on that. I have lots of fabric. I was telling the girls at the conference that like I'm kind of a collector of all things fabric. I go into a store and I see a fabric that I like, I'm likely probably gonna buy it. All right, next up, this something has fallen over. I don't know what. My husband is downstairs. I'm just going to leave it up to them. All right, so this is spooky, scary. I think spooky, scary spells. Hang on, it's in here. I don't know what fell over. Sneaky Spooky Spells. This is by Mitzi Purcell of Luminous Fiber Arts. So, oh my goodness. Do not show the pattern. There we go. This I am stitching with all of the called for colors. Oh no, I lied. Most of the called for DMCs and a few of the, what are they, weeks maybe, dye works. I'm stitching this on a piece of 16 count Aida that I coffee tea dyed myself using the tutorial from Unfinished Stitches. And that is my progress so far. Now, when I dyed this fabric, it shrunk. So the stitch count feels like it's smaller, but it is 2/1 on 16 count. Didn't this fabric come out so great? This is fantastic. I just love this fabric. It is so cool. I do have plans to dye more. I have lots of this 16 count white. I just bought it from Michael's, and I coffee tea dyed it, and it just came out so great. I just love all this marbling. So that was a tutorial by Unfinished Stitches. They are a mother-daughter pair. They're fantastic. If you have not caught them, check them out. They stitch a lot of Aida, which is really nice. They stitch, and their pieces are beautiful. Like, I stitch a lot of the same ones that they're stitching. So we have very similar style. All right, next up. And let me show you this maybe, because it's right on top and it's open. So I got, it's been 3 years now. Yes, 3 years ago. I bought a bunch of these dimensions kits. They are ornaments that are on plastic canvas. And, ooh, I'm like shaking. Like this is getting blurry. Anyways, I love these. They're super, super, super easy to stitch, I find anyway. And they come out so beautiful. I've stitched 4 of them already, and I have 3 of them going right now. This one, and I just started another one the other night, and then a snow globe one as well. So these are, like I said, they're super easy, I think. This one doesn't have a whole lot of French knots, but most of the other ones do. So that is what I have done on this one so far. I just have to go back through and do the back stitching on this. And then I missed one there in that wheel, but it's going good. It's almost done. This will be hopefully ready for the Christmas tree this year. The finishing for this is pretty easy. I just put a felt, like I just glue a felt piece to the back. After you cut it out, like you follow the directions for cutting it out, and you cut around the, like, oh, sorry, you cut around the edge. So it's pretty easy, I think, anyways. Anyway, here it is. They come out looking so fabulous. Like, the colors are just perfect. And you wouldn't even realize, like, that top looks like it's brown. It's actually orange. You have to trust the process for sure. So while I have the plastic canvas out, I'll show you another one that I'm working on. So this is my new start. So I just started this one the other night. And this is a Santa one. These ones are a little bit more involved, like the Santas. Like, you see all these French knots. Remember how I said I'd rather do 150 French knots than a cobweb? Well, there they are. I don't know how many there are altogether in this, but there's a lot of them in the Santas. Anyways, all I have started on him so far is just his hat. I got into bed the other night and stitched for maybe a half an hour. And that's as far as I got. Just a little bit of his hat. These are adorable though. All right. I love these kits. Like they're just perfect. I just love them. All right. Let's show the last one. I worked on this for not very long the other few weekends ago, I think. This is the last one that I actually have currently going, but I have one more that I plan to start. And this one, I didn't do a whole lot on this one since last time I showed it, but I did do some, so I want to make sure. I consider it something that I've worked on, even if I only just put a few stitches in it, because why not? And that's where I am on that one. I filled in some more of this blue over here when I worked on it last. So they're great. They're fun. I really enjoy them. And I'll probably purchase more of them when I finish these. They're great gifts for like, I gave 3 away. Okay, there's those. What have I got here? I didn't work on that or that. Oh, I did work on this. Ooh, back to Halloween. This one, wait till you guys see it. It's been a minute since I pulled this one out. This is Potion Brews and Spells. This came from the 2016 just cross stitch for Halloween edition. So I got a hankering to finish this. Excuse me, because I've started it in 2021. And so I started it up here, and I started it up here, and I came down here, and then I got rid of the alphabet because this piece of fabric I have is not very big. So I cut all of this alphabet out, and then I stitched this. So I got Potion Brews and Spells, all of this up here, and then I stitched this, and now we're down here. Okay, wait till you see it. I'm excited. It is still in the hoop because, you know, we're all there. We've all been there, right? Where it's like in the hoop. All right, I'm gonna pull it out though. Pull it out of the hoop so that you can see it. It's so great. There is still a needle in this. It does have 2024 in it, and you know what? I don't care. Because I thought I was going to finish it. And then I didn't. Isn't that the way, though? This is being stitched on a piece of 32 count fiber on a whim. The color is plum, I believe. Oh, this is so wrinkly. I'm sorry. This is one of those kind of times that you're going to have to really, really forgive me. Okay. Here it is. So there's the Potion Brews and Spells, the Halloween coming down here, but this is where I'm so proud of that. Look at that. Let me see if I can get it to focus. Doesn't like it, it's too close. So I had to wear my magnifier to do that. It is so cool though. It's all back stitching. This whole thing is all back stitching. I have a whole nother side to do, but I'm so proud of myself because I was like, maybe I'm just gonna leave that part off, that wrought iron fence. It's so small. But then I didn't. I took the plunge and I did it. By the way, I'll have you know that this is a backstitched cobweb. This one wasn't too bad. So, when it is ironed and I can be like, look at how beautiful this came out, then you guys will be like, okay, but while it's so wrinkled, sorry. I know, it's hard to see. But it does take more time than I have. All right, so there's that one. I didn't work on that. I did work. Did not work on that since I've been home. Didn't work on that. Nope. Yep. This is Sweater Weather. This is from Stitching with the Housewives. I do not have a cover photo for this right now, but I don't think I really need one because it's pretty much done. So I'll just show it to you and tell you what's not done on it, and then I'll probably finish it maybe tonight. Who knows? This is being stitched on a piece of 32 count mystery fabric that I got from the scrap bin at Hobby House Needleworks. Anyhow, this is where I am on it. So I literally just need to finish this bird. I ran out of 38.65 downstairs, and that's all that I have left to do on it. Because I put this on this color fabric, like this taupey colored fabric, I filled in black. Oh, I have to finish that bird too. I filled in black for the snowman because these are like, they're not stitched in the chalkboard version of this. So I stitched that in there. Just put some black in there. But it's super cute, and I think I can fit, like, I have a bunch of these patterns. Like, I have this one, too, like this Hello Winter one, that I think I could probably stitch, maybe do another one down here, and maybe another one down here, and then it could be like a, I don't know, maybe a bell pull or something. I don't know. It's really cute. I love it. I started this in March 2025 at an urgent care. Not for TMI or anything, but I had to sit there for a while, and I took some stitching with me. And every time I go there and I take my stitching, the physician's assistant that sees me is always like, oh, my mother used to do that. And she's like, maybe my age, a little bit younger. So I've been stitching since I was 8 years old. I don't think that there's an age that you should be to stitch. I just don't. All right. This one I can show you because I did work on this one. This is Merry and Bright. This is by Cottage Garden Samplings, and if you've been with me for a while, you know I love their charts, and I have stitched many of them. I've finished several. This is what this one's going to look like. I'm stitching this with the called for DMCs, none of the weeks dye works. I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Belfast linen in the color Pearl, Smoky Pearl by Witchelt. And I actually really like this fabric. I know a lot of people don't like what, oh no, it is Witchelt. Why does it have the orange though? It is Witchelt. All right. I'm losing my mind for a minute. Anyways, that's where that is. I was working on this last night in the car while I was waiting for my son. This is the second project that I've stitched on this color from Cottage Garden Samplings. The other one that I did was Peace on Earth, also a Christmas one, but that one came out beautifully. And I'm gonna my husband was like, you need to make a day where you can just fully finish things, because that is sitting in a pile, sadly, of other like 50 other projects that are just not fully finished yet. All right, I'm going to get a drink because my throat's dry. Okay. Up next is this one. This is hot chocolate, old-fashioned hot chocolate. This is a freebie chart that you can get on the Tiny Modernists website. Freebie chart. I am stitching mine on a piece of 14 count black Ada that I got from Hobby Lobby. You also, I don't go to Hobby Lobby very often. I just don't. I prefer Michael's for my supplies because I get, for one, I get a discount because I'm a teacher. But also, I just like Michael's better. I'm trying to line this up. Sometimes, occasionally, I will go into Hobby Lobby. Right now, they're the only place that sells fabric around me. So if I want fabric, that's usually where I go. Okay. There is that. Oh my goodness, my stomach is making growling sounds. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So this past weekend, I had a day, Veterans Day. I told my husband, I'm stitching today. I am doing nothing. I'm stitching today. I did do some work later in the day, but I did a lot of stitching. So on Veterans Day, while I was watching, if you like to be influenced by people and you like to watch YouTube, I watched this woman. Her name is Valerie. She does a channel called At Home with Willowberry. And they have been updating their 1975 double wide mobile home in the Smoky Mountains. Anyways, I watch her. I love her. I was watching her when I was stitching this. Like every piece like reminds me of whatever it was I was watching when I was stitching on it. Anyways, I stitched this. I finished all the little white inside here. I stitched the bottom of the cup and all the way across the bottom here so far. And then all I have left to do is the holly berry and then the always fresh in the corner, and then this is done. So this will definitely be a finish before Christmas. And then, oh my goodness, if you really like to be influenced, I joined the Shannon Christine Designs Facebook page. And she puts out free like mini charts. Like they are absolutely adorable. Like they are the cutest little charts. And I'm in love with like 15 of them. Sign up. It's free. You have to answer 2 questions. And I loved one of them. So one of the questions they ask you to answer is, who taught you how to stitch? Like who taught you how to cross stitch? Now for me, nobody taught me how to do it by myself, but my aunt was an influence for me. So she cross stitched. And when I was a little girl, she made us, my 2 sisters and I, she made us these little stockings. Mine has an angel on it. And I have loved that stocking. I still have it. It hangs on my Christmas tree now, but I have loved that stocking since I was little, like little. And I just wanted to be able to make that too. So at the time, Walmart sold all the materials and you could get it from like Joann Fabrics, and they had these little ornament kits, and I bought like 4 of them with my own money, and I taught myself how to cross stitch. And that is my cross stitching journey. That's how I taught myself how to cross stitch, and I have cross stitched for on and off for since then. I took a long hiatus. So when I remember when I was 9 months pregnant with my son, Adam, who is my youngest, by the way, and he just turned 15. I remember sitting in the reclining chair and I was cross stitching, a pattern that came out of the, keepsakes calendars from Better Homes and Gardens. It was a farm, a country fair scene. And I remember sitting there and stitching and feeling him kick, and it was just great. And then I didn't touch anything cross stitch from then until 2020. So a good 10 years had gone by before I picked up any stitching. But I had 4 kids under the age of 6. And so by the time like 10 years had gone by, I had now a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and they didn't really need me in the same way that they needed me when they were small. And so during the pandemic, I got bored because I was crocheting. I was making all these baby blankets. I was like getting piled up with baby blankets. And finally one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to look and see what I have in my cross stitch stuff that I can just finish. And I pulled out a Santa and I finished it. And I was like, I wonder if there's any videos like this, like literally this is what went through my mind. I wonder if there's any videos out there of people cross stitching, because we had, you know, like we'd evolved so much since 2010 as far as technology and such was concerned. And the very first Flosstube channel I ever watched was Stitching with the Housewives. It was the very first one I ever watched. And then I watched a whole bunch. I went back and watched a bunch of theirs. And of course I watched Pam and Steph, and I watched, you know, like all of the big, I don't know if you remember the Joyfield Stitcher, but she doesn't make videos, I don't think, anymore. Anyways, I don't see her videos anymore. She was one of the ones that I first started watching. Bendy Stitchy, like just a lot of the bigger ones. And over the course of time, you know, I've built my collection from like just a few pieces that I had started over the years to all of the ones that I have now. I don't know how many I even have. When I do my whip parade in December, I'll do a count, but I did start quite a few things this year. I actually had a kind of a health scare. So in January, when I went into the hospital in January, actually, because I had the flu really bad. And I thought I was dying. And obviously I wasn't. But it was Christmas Eve. Or not Christmas Eve. It was New Year's Eve. And we had people over. And I was dying. And they did a CAT scan. And they found, like, I had, like, this little nodule on my pancreas. So for 6 months, I had to wait to have another scan done. And in that time, that was a really difficult time. And I don't know if any of you have ever had, like, a time in your life where you've had something like that and you just didn't know and it just like scared you. So in that time, I didn't start anything new because I thought, oh my gosh, if something's really wrong with me, I don't want my kids to be saddled with like 55 projects that I have. So I know this is getting deep and we don't want to be too deep because we're talking about stitching here. But anyways, after my second scan, things were turning out to be okay. For now. And so then after that, after like I had my second scan, I was like, I can start things again. Isn't that awful? Like, it's awful, but maybe some of you can relate to that. Where I just was like, I don't want to leave my kids with like, my husband with like this. And so I told them all, I'm like, listen, if anything happens to me and you need to figure out something with my stuff, I said, just go on Facebook and give it to people that will finish it. Like, I have no intention of whatever leaving this is my hobby. These are the things I enjoy. My family does not. They do not they do not stitch. None of them do. And so I'm like, listen, I don't want you to hold on to something just because I started it. Like, I'd rather you try to find somebody that would enjoy it and stitch it and finish it for me. And he said, okay. That was easy, but now that things are kind of okay and I'm feeling a lot more confident about, you know, everything. Anyways, I don't have to have another scan for a while, so that's good. Nothing was different, nothing changed, and they didn't think it was anything to worry about. But at the end of the day, I started starting things again. So now I have new starts. Anyways, back to the stitching. Now we're out of those deep, dark waters. Now we're talking about stitching again. This is the Soda Stitcher, and she has the cutest charts. Anyways, if you like gnomes, I would go check her out. I got this on Etsy. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. So I am not stitching enough Thanksgiving. I'm not, but I'm going to be. I'm going to start more Thanksgiving things. I changed the colors in this, and I will tell you why, because I did not think blue was the best color for Thanksgiving stitching. Anyways, I'm stitching this on 32 count natural raw. Natural, maybe. I don't know. It's brown. And this is for, let me see here. I want to tell you exactly what color this is. So in case you get this chart and you like what I'm doing, the dark green is 936 and the lighter green is 471. 936 and 471. And I had already had this part done. I finished his hat, finished the black belt here, and started in on his nose and his beard. And this is the one that's carrying the candelabra. So this will come out again this weekend, and I will be working on this. So I'm doing, thankfully, the way that these are charted is they're only 2 colors each. So this one, then this one, my husband was like, I think you should do that in like orange and brown. So I don't know if I'm going to or not because the pie is orange and brown, but maybe, maybe yellow. Like a, not a bright yellow, but like maybe like a fallish yellow color. I'll figure it out. I'll look through my DMCs. But yes. I just think it's adorable. The soda stitcher. I'm sorry for the zipper sounds, if that bothers you. I know I'm saying it kind of late. I'm a little late to the party. I'm always a little late to the party. All right, next up, we have, it's the most wonderful feast of the year. Those of you that have been around for the long haul, this is the 4th time I have started this chart, okay? The 4th time is a charm, though. It's going really, really well this time. I'm very, very pleased. This is going to be a finish in the next year. The very first time I started this was in the very early or very late part of 2020, maybe, the very late part of 2020. This is Sue Hillis Designs, by the way. I got this chart from Everything Cross Stitch like a long time ago. I had started it on a 36 count and the piece of fabric was too small. And then I had started it on a piece of, what's the other one? I can't remember. I started it and I had started it and I had messed up on the colors. And then I had it on a piece of 18 count Time by Picture This Plus, and I hated it because I was stitching it with one strand over one, and I didn't like the coverage. I thought it was just not, it was not dark enough. I didn't feel like the colors really popped off the fabric enough. Anyway, so I found this piece of 28 count in my stash, and I started it over again, and now it's going very, very well. This is 28 count even weave. It is lamb's wool, actually, Jobelin. That's what it is. I just saw the sticker on it. Anyways, this is what it looks like. And now I love it. So, and I'm doing the back stitching as I go this time. Smart girl I am. That corn is a hot mess. I mean, It's stitched perfectly because I didn't make any mistakes. I know that because everything lines up. But it is five different colors in this little tiny area here. So funny how it's letting this get close, but it wouldn't let the other one get close. Isn't that weird? Anyway, all of my rambling. That's probably why I don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm sorry. Oh. Listen, if you know, you know, and those of you that have been around and have been my subscribers since I started, my first Flosstube video was in January of 2021. We are going on 5 years. You know what is kind of perplexing though? It's like some people just like instantaneously get like 1,500 people the first time their video shows. I don't even know why. Anyways, I love you all. I love my subscribers and I don't complain because you know what? It's organic. It's growing at the pace it's meant to grow. All right, next up. None of these because I didn't work on any of those. I did work on this one. Oh, and I worked on that one. Okay, these two I worked on. All right. This is another Luminous Fiber Arts. I bet you can't guess what it is. Did you guess Halloween? You would be correct. It is Halloween. I'm working on this one right here. But I am going to do all of them. This is Haunted. So I was going to do this one, but then the piece of fabric that I have is too small. So it wasn't going to fit. So I started with these, and I know all 3 of these are going to fit on the one piece of fabric that I have, which is a piece of 32 count vintage Stormy Night. It is on a scrap piece of fabric that I got from Hobby House Needleworks. Bet you couldn't guess that. Look at this. I'm going to stitch a stitch in it right now as I'm sitting here because for some reason I had it half stitched. Like what? I must have gotten interrupted. That's all I can think of. I got interrupted when I was stitching that. When was I stitching this? I don't even remember. I know I have stitched on it since I showed it last. That much I do know. Sometime in October. Anyways, here it is. And I just have, where did the piece go? I have the moon left to stitch and the bee. So the bee and then there's a moon here. The rest is in there. Did I say it was Vintage Stormy Night? That's what it is, right? Yeah. Vintage Stormy Night, yes. That's what it is. It's Belfast linen. So these are so cute. I love it so much. I'm stitching this with the called for DMCs, not any of the week's dye works that it calls for. All right, there's that one. All right, next up, Away We Ride. Away We Ride. I worked on this. I think maybe it was at the retreat. You might have seen this already, but whatever. I'm going to show it again anyhow. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count natural raw by Witchelt, which I love, by the way. I know some people don't, but I do. I love it. I'm stitching this a little different. I have different colors, and I've explained why before, but I will explain again because that's just who I am. I'm a teacher. I explain things multiple times a day, over and over and over again. Anyways, I am not using the Gentle Arts threads because I couldn't get them. It was Onyx and Garden Gate. And at the time, like, everybody was stitching this piece. I don't know what's going on downstairs. I don't know if it's part of their show or what. Anyways, so I couldn't get it at the time because everybody was stitching this. I finished the border, which I had done. The border matched up, which was amazing. And now I'm working inside. I am using Weeks Dye Works charcoal for the Onyx and Grapevine for the Garden Gate. And honestly, like, looking at the picture, I don't think that you would ever be able to tell that it was ever a difference in color. Excuse me. I love it. It is coming out so, so nice. This will come out again in January. It absolutely will. And, like, I'm looking forward to getting to, like, the house here. I do have the, what is it? Pecan pie. Let me look real quick. It is not. It is maple syrup. I'm going to look in here. I think I have it. I think I bought it. Pecan pie. Wood smoke. Maybe I did not. I thought I did. I thought I had gotten all of the colors for that, but I guess not. Oh, you know, that's just another thing I'll need when I go to the Barefoot Needle Art in February. I'll need another one of those. All right. Is that all I stitched on? I don't think that's all I stitched on. I feel like I stitched on more stuff. What's down here in my pile of goodies? I did not work on that. I pulled it out the other day, but I did not work on it. And I did not work. There's nothing in here to work on. Is that it? Was that all? Well, it's now we're in. So maybe that was all. Oh no, I did work on this. I didn't put much in it, but I did work on it for a few minutes. This is Plum Street Samplers Raccoon Rabble. Ladies and gentlemen, I am stitching this on 36 count, 1/2. And let me tell you that, do you see that little raccoon? Do you see that little guy? He is 1/1. What was I thinking? Anyways, I stitched that 2 years ago, so we're good on that now. I'm working on his dad. I think that's his mom. I'm working on whoever he's standing on. Mom, dad, whoever. And I actually got a lot of the face done. And I worked on this one. So I worked on their face and I worked on filling in some of this body. I do not enjoy 1/1 stitching, but this is coming out really cute. I like it. I stitch almost everything on 32 count, but I do have 40 count fabric. And guess what? I'm going to stitch on it. Candy Cane Lane. And guess what there is in Candy Cane Lane? There are 2 tiny little candy canes at the very bottom that are stitched 1/1. And that is why I have a thing. What is it called? Magnifier. I have a magnifier for that. All right. I'm just going back through this bag here because even though I'm pretty certain I didn't stitch on anything else in this bag in the time I want to make sure, because I don't think I'm going to film again until Christmas. I am thinking, and I have wanted to do this every year, and I just have not done it. I would like to do a what's it called? A Flossmas, Vlogmas, whatever. I don't know that I can commit to something every day, but I think I could commit to something once a week in the month of December. My husband is traveling a lot. My son turns 21 on December 4th. Happy birthday, Ethan, because I will not be filming another video before his birthday, most likely. I cannot believe he's 21. He's my oldest. And then my best friend is having surgery on December 5th because she has thyroid cancer. So that's going to be a busy time. Thankfully, things don't look too bad, so we're not going to go down the sad road again, but definitely praying for her. And I want to be there for her for that. So I probably will be stitching because I am likely going to be going there and spending a lot of time in the waiting room and whatnot. But, and she has to go to Chapel Hill for that. So we'll probably stay in a hotel up there for the weekend, that weekend. But then my husband has to leave again on December 8th, and he will be gone through the, what is it, the 12th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 8th, 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, yes. And then he'll be home, and then he's leaving again the next day on Sunday, and he'll be gone the 15th through that end of that week, which is like the 19th. And then it's Christmas. So I might be able to commit to like one video a week, maybe, during that time. And I'd really, 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 really like to do some Stitch With Me videos. I know I say that in every single video. I think that the reason why I haven't done too many of them is because the setup is kind of hard. And I stitch everywhere in this house. So I stitch in my bedroom, in the living room. I have two living rooms, I should say. One kind of in the front of my house, and then I have like a family room that's like towards the back. I stitch anywhere. I stitch down there and up here and wherever. And I'll stitch with the kids around, but I don't really like talking to myself when the kids are around. So not talking to myself, I'm talking to you all, but you know, it's not the same. It's not like it's alive. So if I could do a live Stitch With Me, I totally would. I just don't have the setup for that yet. I don't know like how I would film that. I'm not really sure. I'd have to look into it. Try to see. But anyways, I'd really like to do that. Maybe do a few of those, maybe a couple of those. If anybody's attending the Jingle Ball, I think I might sign up to go. Not to do any of the classes, but to join some of the stitching rooms. I've never done that before. And I know that it doesn't seem like I'm a shy person, but I actually am kind of a shy person. So I don't know. If anybody's going to the Jingle Ball and they would be willing to hold my virtual hand, I am thinking about signing up just to go into some of the stitching rooms, because I will be in Chapel Hill. If I don't go on the 4th, I will probably go on the 5th, and I'll probably be there through the weekend. So, that might be a good place for me to attend the Jingle Ball, and it might be a good time for me too as well, so that my mind is kind of, you know, busy with other things. Yeah. I know. We were kind of on a roller coaster this video, but I feel better. I really hope that you enjoyed it. if you have any questions about anything that you saw, please feel free to reach out to me. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm kimberly.chamberlain.14 on Instagram. You do have to ask me to follow me because somebody tried to steal my identity on there. So that's why it's not public anymore, because it was public before. So if you just, hit the follow, and typically what I do is I just look to see if you stitch, and if I see pictures of stitching, or you liked somebody's stitching or something like that, then I know that, you're legitimate and you're not trying to steal my identity. So you can follow me there. I don't post anything on Facebook unless it's something family related. So that's why I don't have my Facebook is not available at this time. But you can follow me on Instagram. I am on TikTok, but I haven't filmed anything on TikTok. But I've been thinking a lot about that, and trying to see if maybe I can film some videos for TikTok. I don't know. So yeah, feel free to DM me if you have any questions or anything like that. That's all I have for tonight. I don't have any real plans to speak of because I just am kind of stitching what I want when I want. I was doing WIPGO up until about August. And because I can talk about WIPGO for a second. So if you don't know what WIPGO is, it's like a bingo board that you set up for yourself, and it helps you to work on maybe some bigger projects and make some progress on things throughout the year. Jamie Marie does stuff, is in charge of it, and she pulls 2 numbers every month, and whatever you have on your bingo board, you stitch during that month. I make a WIPGO board every year. And I don't think I have ever stitched directly according to the WIPGO board any year that I have done it. But I still enjoy creating the WIPGO board because what I think it does for me anyways is it helps me to think about the projects that I really want to put some effort into, that I really want to kind of finish. And it gets me gives me that little that's something that's on your mind that you want to be working on, because if you don't work on it, it's not going to finish. It's going to be stuck. I do have a couple of projects that I am UFOing this year. Unfortunately, I am UFOing the Brooks Books Advent Animals. And, oh, why is that showing me that it's not? Oh my goodness. This whole time I thought my phone was plugged in. Somebody unplugged my charger again. Oh, my husband did. He did it to plug in his watch. I love him, but what a pain. Okay, there we go. Now my phone's going to like me again, right? Okay. Hopefully that's charging now. Goodness. Anyways, I'm going to UFO that because unfortunately she's passed away, and a lot of the charts are going away, and I just know who is that dog? That's not our dog. I hear my dog. Huh. Anyway. Squirrel. Anyhow, so I think I'm going to UFO that because I know that I won't have all of the charts printed or downloaded or anything like that before I think that they're gone. In fact, I went to look for them last week, and I didn't find them. So I have decided that, oh my gosh, that is so distracting. I'm going to UFO that. Or, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the ones that I've already stitched. And then call it a day. Now I'm really leaving. Now they've talked about like everything back and forth and zigzagged and everything else. I can, and the dog is so distracting. So anyways, yeah, so that's WhipGo, and I am not that good at it. I am okay at it, but not that good at it. So I haven't worked on any of my WhipGo projects in a minute. But at the end of the year, I'll go through and highlight the areas that I did work and, you know, create a new WhipGo board for the next year. I'm getting tired. And so now I'm starting to ramble. I'm going to stop here before it gets worse. I hope that everybody has had the most fabulous month of October and November so far. Thank you for your service to anyone out there that is a veteran. I didn't say that at the beginning, and I know it's after Veterans Day, but I do appreciate you and the sacrifices that you made for our country. So thank you. I am looking forward to Thanksgiving. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. If I do not do a Stitch With Me video before Thanksgiving, I want to make sure that I share that with you. And I will keep you posted on my next video. And I hope everybody has a great stitchy week ahead. And I thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me here today. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.